I want to thank the media for coming out today. It's not how we wanted to make this announcement to our community. We all had hopes and dreams and prayers that Falon Michelle Cooksey would be found alive and be able to return to her family. But unfortunately, yesterday the Sheriff's Office located the remains of Falon Michelle Cooksey, who had been missing since June the 10th of 2018. The remains of Falon Michelle Cooksey were located in a wooded area off of Matthew Drive here in Gaffney, South Carolina. Shortly before noon yesterday, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office received a tip that human remains were in this area. The tip was provided by a person that had been in the wooded area and seen the skeleton remains within the past 3 to 4 weeks, and reported that to us yesterday morning, and we were able to locate those remains. At this time, I'm going to transition over to the coroner, let him speak briefly, and then I'll come back and continue what you have as far as the media release. But the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office and our Cherokee Coroner, Dennis Fowler, worked to remove the evidence and skeletal remains up until about 6:30 last night, returning back this morning to finish up the scene. But I'm going to turn it over to the coroner now.
Coroner's office and the Sheriff's Office collectively worked together to remove the evidence at the scene that was located along with skeletal remains. Among those skeletal remains, we were able to recover a jawbone which did contain teeth. We were able to take those teeth to the dentist of Falon Cooksey, and it was a match which positively identified those skeletal remains with her. We also compared at the scene a number of other things, including a wallet that was found that also contained credit cards and also her driver's license. So we will continue to work in the coroner's office to have a forensic exam of the skeletal remains, but at this time it is our belief that she died at her own hands.
Thank you, coroner. Yesterday, all the vicious rumors surrounding the disappearance of Falon Michelle Cooksey can now be put to rest. All the rumors and false information that has been spread on social media and even messages sent to this grieving mother and family were false and untrue, and now can be put to rest. Investigators, a lot of them are not even in this room, but many of them are to my right, and I'll acknowledge them as we continue, spent well over 2,500 man-hours in this investigation. The evidence in this case shows why investigators continue to come back to this area where the remains were located for repeated searches. She was last seen in this area. Her phone last pinged a signal in this area. Articles of her clothing had been located and recovered in this area during previous searches. Unfortunately, investigators in Cherokee County and many other counties that I will name shortly, we spent countless searching areas based off of tips reported along or rumors spread on social media that just were simply not true. Every piece of information, however, had to be down until investigators could determine the information had no credibility or the information was of no investigative value to this case. The binders that you see here is just a small portion of the work that was done by the men and women and many of the agencies involved. As you can see, these binders, some of them are 5-6 inches thick with paperwork and documentation of the work that was done throughout this investigation. Investigators searched properties in 5 counties in both South Carolina and North Carolina. They searched more than 10 wells, farm ponds, the Broad River. There are many more items and things that were seized or taken as evidence that is not on display today, along with other electronic records, data, and information related to this case. I tell you all this for a reason. Social media is a great tool for law enforcement. It's a great tool that we can use to get information out and help locate suspects, persons of interest, but it's also a tool that, if it's not used right, can create cruel and unusual punishment for those family members that received false information, false rumors, and the countless hours that investigators in 2 states had to run down that we knew from the beginning probably was not credible, but we had a duty and an obligation to run those facts down to make sure they were not credible. So we just want to encourage folks, if you're going to use social media, please do it in a way that helps your local law enforcement, helps those families that are struggling as the Cooksey family has struggled over these past 32 months. So this outcome is certainly not what law enforcement wanted. It's not the outcome the family wanted. However, with the discovery of the remains, it will allow this family to have a memorial service for Falon and bring some closure and healing for this family. This family has been very patient throughout this investigation. They've leaned heavily on their faith over the past 32 months. I would respectfully ask our community to continue to pray for this family as they move forward in the grieving process. This case originally started in the town of Blacksburg in their jurisdiction. After almost a year, it was determined she was alive outside of their jurisdiction. So the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office took over the investigation with the assistance of SLED, Special Agent Spike McCraw, and then from that point the investigation has been ongoing almost each and every day, every week. But over the past 32 months, officers from several counties and jurisdictions again spent thousands of man-hours on this case. We want to personally thank, and this is not only from our agency as the lead agency, but from the family, as I met with Falon's mother, Missy, yesterday. They want to thank everybody that's involved: the Blacksburg Police Department, Officer Todd Campbell, now former retired officer Mark Vandenberg, the Gaffney Police Department, the York County Sheriff's Office, Union County Sheriff's Office, the Cleveland County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office, the Gaston County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office, Charlotte-Mecklenburg, Kings Mountain Police Department, the Cyclone Law Enforcement Division, especially Agent Spike McCraw, who is in the room here, North Carolina SBI, the FBI, and the men and women of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, the entire investigative division of the Sheriff's Office under the direction of Captain Parnell, along with the lead investigator, Lieutenant Haney, who is to my left, and all of our crime scene officers who have worked tirelessly on this case, along with the assistance provided by our coroner. Many other groups assisted with searches throughout this 32 months, bringing cadaver dogs in, Spartanburg County Search and Rescue Group, along with the Cherokee County Emergency Management, Spartanburg County Emergency Management, the Q Group, which is the Center for Missing Persons out of Wilmington, North Carolina, CKC Fire Department, Fire and Rescue out of Spartanburg County, and many, many thanks to the citizens who helped this family during this journey over the past 32 months and who volunteered to search all over this county in an effort to bring Falon home. That concludes our press conference, and we'll take any questions from the media.
Sheriff Mueller, I just want to make sure I heard you right. You guys believe that she was alive for up to a year after she was reported missing?
No, sir. Okay. She was reported missing on June the 10th, and the last ping on her telephone was on July the 11th, and we believe that she died within a few days of.
And Sheriff Mueller, just to be clear, you said that investigators had searched this specific area many times before?
Received, and you guys can take a look at it when you come up here after on last this orange area that was provided. It was done on this area. 4 to 5 U.S. devices on the ground doing the searching. And during this entire time, clothing was in this area. So led us to keep going back. Area. The fact that her phone last area kept bringing us back. However, where her body was located was just this area marked in orange. It was conducted along that creek area. We believe officers probably within 60 feet of where the skeletal remained yesterday.
Before you guys searched after you received the tip, when was the last time you all searched in that area?
We searched there October, late October. We spent a Saturday and a Sunday. The Spartanburg County came over, roughly 25 people, 15 or 20 from this agency, and we area extensively on Saturday and Sunday. But again, the search was pretty much contained to the area outlined in the map here. A lot of construction. She was last seen near a motel that has since been torn down, and our concern was that as they were doing the road improvements in that area, that as they were beginning to bring additional dirt and topsoil in, that the body would be covered up. But thankfully we got the break that we needed yesterday morning, and we've been able to recover those remains.
Are you going to investigate the cause of anymore, or are you guys she purposely took her own life?
I believe I said we will continue to do a forensic exam of the skeletal to make sure that it doesn't show any blunt force trauma or any other indication that there would be something else involved.
Thank you, Coroner.
What were some of these rumors that you guys are so disgusted by?
With the family very candidly, and there's just rumors that she was in Wales. Referencing the press release, we searched more than 10 whales, put in a car and pushed off in the Broad River. Put in a 55-gallon drum and disposed of, and many, many more. And I'm not going to go into all those details. They're exactly what they are. They were lies and rumors, and I'm not going to acknowledge it. Just again, for this family here, they've been put through enough. When people would send stuff like that to the mother on Facebook, through Facebook Messenger, those comments and those rumors are certainly not worthy of any more discussion. And our investigators closed the rumors through their hard work and efforts that they put forward, and by the discovery of her body yesterday where it was discovered, that clearly shuts the door on those rumors.
Sheriff, is it frustrating to know that you guys were so close to these remains during previous investigations when searching this area?
Absolutely. We go back and look. What if we just went a little bit further north? And we did go north. We actually, it was located, if you're familiar with this area, that creek all the way up to Providence Church is up near one. And we go far enough off the creek bank. We had been searching along the creek bank there, particular creek, due to the fact that in previous searches we had a substantial amount of her clothing that had washed 3/4 of a mile downstream, and so a lot was concentrated along that creek, and we just didn't go far enough up to where somebody could have made the decision. And also we looked at, as we looked at reviewing the work that was done, some of these searches were done in the middle of the summer where the vegetation is much thicker and the visibility is obviously much less than you have now in the fall and winter when the vegetation and leaves are off the trees in the area.
Sheriff, the person who called had been in the woods 3 to 4 weeks, correct?
Yes. No explanation as to why they waited. In fact, they said it bothered them and they wanted to make us aware. They were not 100% sure that they were human remains. We get calls on a regular basis where folks find a bone or bones out to be an animal or some type of that is discovered. We're just thankful that the time we have been there since this phone call put us in the area that was the area of focus, and based off that tip led us right into where we could discover the remains. And these men and women, to my right, they represent many of the agencies that were mentioned today. And personally, gentlemen, ladies,